Hyvät katsojat, tervetuloa mukaan tähän ohjelmaan jälleen. Ohjelmahan kulkee nimellä Tenhunen ja sain vieraakseni hyvin mielenkiintoisen henkilön Israelista. Israelhan on ollut otsikoissa hyvinkin paljon ja monestakin syystä. Israelissa toimii monia kristillisiä järjestöjä, seurakuntia, mutta myöskin mediajärjestöjä. Ja yksi tällainen on Trumpet of Salvation, joka on perustettu Jacov Damkanin toimesta muutamia vuosikymmeniä sitten, eli noin 30 vuotta sitten. Hän on galilealainen, juutalainen, joka matkusti Yhdysvaltoihin ja tuli uskoon, niin kuin me täällä Suomessa sanomme. Ja tänä päivänä hän todella johtaa tätä Trumpet of Salvation-järjestöä. Hän on tuottanut elokuvia, DVD- ja CD-ohjelmia. Hänestä on kirjoitettu kirja, myöskin suomeksi ilmestyneenä, Miksi juuri minä? Ja hän on tänään täällä haastateltavana ja me keskustelemme median tilanteesta kansainvälisesti, mutta myöskin Israelissa ja tilanteesta Lähi-idässä. Jotenka hyvin mielenkiintoinen puolituntinen on tulossa. Welcome, Jacov Damkani, to our show.
Kiitos. Thank you. It's so good to be here. Beautiful country, beautiful people, and great berries and blueberries and all kind of great blueberries you have here.
Näin, että sinulla on piippu mukanasi. Poltatko sinä vai mikä tämä on?
Yes. It's a heavenly pipe. You know, a real heavenly pipe. This is a shofar, 700 years old. I got this from a synagogue in Morocco, in Fez. And maybe we should blow it.
Yes.
You can ignore the piano and you can ignore the guitar, but you know the sound of the trumpet, of the shofar, it's very hard to ignore. And this call people to God, call people to war, call people to the house of God, anointing kings with this. And let's let our hearers wake up with the sound of the trumpet, which should remind us of the day in which the trumpet will sound and the dead shall rise. And that is an awesome day which we all long for, labor for, and live for, that glorious day of the coming of our Lord, which will come to take his rightful place and set kingdom on earth.
Voimmeko kuulla, miltä se kuulostaa? Can we hear how it sounds?
Yes.
Wow.
Shofar.
So far.
And when the day come and we'll hear it from heaven, I pray everyone who put Jesus' name on his lips be found faithful. Faithful. Yes.
Aloitamme sinun omasta tarinasta. Sä olet syntynyt Galileassa.
Yeah, I was born by the city of Tel Aviv, by Tiberias, right by the sea, to a family of 8 children who have come to Israel from Iran. I was actually made in Iran but delivered in Israel. My mother came to Israel with my dear father, 5 children born in Iran. And I was in my mother's womb. And when they came to Israel, there I was born. Religious family. I left religion when I was about 15 years of age, 16 years of age. And I felt like I'm a man enough to tell my father, I'm not going anymore to the synagogue. This is not my cup of tea. And of course, it really brought a whole kinds of conflict in the house, which caused me to leave the house and run away from home, 16 years of age, living on the beach in Eilat by the Red Sea for 2 years. And to make a long story short, I left Israel when I was 22 years old and traveled Europe, from Europe to the Bahamas, and from the Bahamas to America. And I was 25 years old when I was confronted with the gospel through a faithful, genuine, true Christians who had a deep knowledge of the Old Testament and the history of the church. And he helped me to really distinguish between Jesus of the church and Jesus of the Bible. And that really woke me up to the reality of this great salvation, this great promised Messiah, Yeshua.
Tänään johdat omaa järjestöäsi Pelastuksen Sofar, niin kuin se täällä Suomessa tunnetaan. Ja olet tuottanut myöskin elokuvan. Mikä tämän elokuvan nimi on?
Yeah, I'm leading the mission. I'm the founder and the director of the mission Trumpet of Salvation to Israel, which actually began in 1983. It's a mission that has really have taken the revelation which we have received from God concerning the Gentile who are called to provoke Israel to jealousy. And I would really like to read the verse, a number of verses from the book of Romans, which are really the heart of our mission. And this comes in Romans 11, from verse 11 to 15, which I think we should really wake up the church to realize this glorious truth. Paul says here in Romans 11, from verse 11 to 15, I said then, they did not stumble so as to fall, did they? May it never be. But by their transgression, salvation has come to the Gentiles to make them jealous. Now, if their transgression be riches for the world, and their failures be riches for the Gentiles, how much more will their fulfillment be? But I'm speaking to you who are Gentiles, and so much then, as an apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify my ministry, if somehow I might move to jealousy my fellow countrymen and save some of them. For if their rejection be the reconciliation of the world, what their acceptance be but life from the dead? And this is the very heart and the very foundation of Trumpet of Salvation to Israel, in mobilizing the Christians to fulfill their mission, provoking Israel to jealousy. And one need to understand that Paul does not pull this truth out of his sleeves. We don't have time here, but this is really rooted in the Old Testament. This whole counsel of God, this mind of God in having Israel stumble over the stone which the Lord laid in Zion, having Israel stumble over their own promised Messiah, is the mind and the counsel and the mystery that the church must realize and recognize, that we as a nation, the Jewish people, have rejected Jesus for the sake of the salvation to come to the end of the earth. And the wisdom of God now is to mobilize the Christians and bring them in provoking Israel to healthy, positive jealousy, and having the Jewish to see Jesus in the Jewish context. And so that's what Trumpet of Salvation is all about. We've been doing this now for 30 years, inviting people from all over the world, teaching them how to relate the gospel to the Jewish people in a Jewish context, and mobilizing them throughout the country. And so this has been really going an ongoing mission with glorious, praise be to God, perseverance and endurance, and keeping on the race, keeping on with the good fight. And what can I say? We see a lot of fruit. We see a lot of people coming to faith. So much of it is thanks to this film which you have mentioned, because we realize that a lot of people are just glued to the internet. A lot of people glued into television.
Yes.
And so this film called The Other Side of the Cross, you will see many films about Jesus, all of them produced by Gentiles, with the Gentiles' mindset and the Gentile heartbeat.
Monet niistä on myöskin kuvattu sitten Yhdysvalloissa.
Right. Well, this is the first time in history that a Jew, Israeli, just happened to be me, and praise be to God, producing a film, a documentary film about Yeshua that really is opening the eyes of Israel slowly but surely. And this is 52 minutes long. The Other Side of the Cross in Hebrew is Ovia Korah. And it would be great if we can just show 2 minutes out of this later on. Yes. But this is one thing we do. We pass this out in Israel by the tens of thousands. And of course, this book. How you read that in Finnish?
Miksi juuri minä?
Miksi juuri minä? Miksi
Right.
juuri minä? Why me? And we pass on this book, over 400,000 copies in Israel, of course in Hebrew, and hundreds of Israelis come to believe thanks to these books. And we have it in 16 different languages. It's a very powerful book. I boast in my Lord. It's not just my life story, very dramatic story. It's really bringing you to the old covenant and to the realization of God's promises to Israel. So Trumpet of Salvation, if people can really visit us on our website, www.Trumpet of Salvation, one word, they can order this book and this DVD, and I know it will be a great blessing to the people.
Katsotaan tämä filmi, jonka olet tuottanut, Ristin toisella puolella.
This movie, I would like to really show the Pope, you said the Pope, the Papa, the head of the Catholic Church, with the head of the synagogues, the chief rabbi of Israel. You will see in this film, they are crucifying the cross, and it's getting out of the ground, and it's an amazing scenery.
Hyvät katsojat, tältä se näyttää.
החיים לא הגיעה העת לראשונה מזה 2000 שנה לספר על ישו לא מפי מאמיניו הגויים, אלא מאחיו בני עמו, ישראלים דוברי עברית כמוהו, לא בנכר, אלא כאן על אדמת ארץ ישראל, מקום הולדתו ומותו. אולי זה יעזור סוף סוף להבין מי הוא היה, מה הוא רצה.
Suunnittelet parhaillaan uuden filmin tekoa. Mikä sen aiheeksi tulee?
This was like my beginning, just getting my feet into the water with this film, which it really became a documentary film. The next film is a fiction film. It's a 100-minute film. I already have the script in my hand.
Kuka on käsikirjoittaja?
No, the writer is David Balchassan. It's all in Hebrew, of course. Because all my film, all my writing, everything is in Hebrew, and it's all geared for the Jewish people to really see Jesus. But I make this film very short and to the point. The films take place in a high school not far from our mission base in Jaffa, in Israel. This high school, we're taking a class 18 years of age, that is the 12th grade. In the classroom made out of 40 students in the class, we put 5 actors. One is a radical Muslim, one is a nominal Muslim, a woman, athletic woman. She really believes in Israel and she is supportive of Israel, while the radical want to finish with Israel and kill Israel. And then you have a nominal Christian Arab who have this cross on his neck and know nothing about Jesus, knows nothing about the Bible, but he's Christians like many Arabs and many Gentiles in the world who are Christians only by name. So he's one actor there. Then we have one Druze, a Druze, and then we have the Jew playing me, Jacob. I came to know the Lord 25 years of age, but this actor will be 18 years of age playing Jacob. And then we have this janitor. Janitor is the man who clean the school. He's cleaning the school, and he is playing the Jeff in my book, because in my book, there is this man, Jeff, the Gentile Christian, who really revealed to me Jesus from the Old Testament. He began to unfold before me the prophecies of the Old Testament, and he helped me, as I said, to distinguish between so-called Christianity and true Jesus. Well, in this movie, the janitor with a broom who sweep and clean and responsible for the cleanness of the school, he's the wise man. He is full of the Spirit, and he is beginning to drip to drop information and truth into the mind and the heart of Jacob. And Jacob comes with all this information to the classroom. And he's really beginning to shake the classroom. And the Arab begins to attack him, the Arab Muslim and the Arab Christians. And there is a lot of discussions in the classroom. And of course, there is a dramatic film there where Jacob is in love with a Muslim girl. And in the end, Jacob comes to faith. He really come to realize Jesus in all his glory and his Jewish context. Jesus who had no intention to bring a new religion. Jesus who is the natural continuation of God's promises to Israel. And Jacob woke up to realize the difference between Jesus and rabbinical Judaism. And he begins now to testify and to do the work I'm doing now. Tracts in the streets, books, preaching, and proclaiming the gospel throughout Israel. And he is being killed by the religious people. This movie is really geared to pull down the stronghold of the rabbinical Judaism and let Israel come in touch with true biblical Judaism. Powerful, dramatic, what a script. Now we're praying that the Lord will really provide us with the right director, the actors, and of course the budget for it.
Okei, vielä siis ei ole ohjaaja löytynyt. Who is maybe coming to be director for this?
It must be an Israeli, because the movie is in Hebrew, and we have few names in mind, and when we decide, we'll let you all know. Yes.
Okay. Target group is the Jews, but how
the Arabs.
Gentiles, Arabs?
Also the Arabs. I mean, we're going to the Jews first, and also to the Arabs. Our team knows to sing in Hebrew, of course, and we know to sing in Arabic. And the believers who come to us from all the nations, we teach them not only how to relate the gospel to the Jewish people, but how to relate the gospels also to the Arab people. And we do go, we have tracts and books and literatures for the Arabs, and we visit them quite often.
Kuinka menestyksekäs olet ollut tämän oman järjestösi kautta, jos katsot omaa historiaasi?
We began this work in 1983. Back then, there were very few believers in the land. No more than maybe 14 congregations, only hundreds of believers, few hundreds of believers. And today there is more than 100 congregations, and some people estimate 15,000 believers, I would say 10,000 believers. I know personally we have led hundreds of Israelis to believe. In every congregation in Israel, you find believers who came to faith through the work of Trumpet of Salvation. And the beautiful thing about Trumpet is not only that we're seeing Jewish coming to believe in our own congregation. We have a congregation Sacred Assembly, which meet in the hotel that is Hotel Gilgal, which is part of our mission. And so that congregation is really growing in numbers. We're about 60 people in the congregation, members. Every Friday, also Sunday and Tuesday we have meetings, but we have 120 people coming there, like on regular meetings. So we see fruit, we see a lot of fruit, but not the most, but it's really also encouraging what we invest in the life of the believers from across the globe. People who come with really a lot of misconception, Christians coming with misunderstanding about the Jews, believing that you can't evangelize the Jews, don't know how to do it. They come because they read the book, they come because they saw the film, they come because they heard me speak in the church, and so they come, and it's just like in the book of Matthew. We have learned from the Lord. You come to the end of chapter 9 in the book of Matthew, and what do you see? You see that the Lord is doing the whole work by himself. 9 miracles, all the wisdom, all great doing, but the Lord doing it all by himself. And the apostles are only spectators. They only watch him. They only hear him. And Jesus knows that you hear and you're quick to forget. You watch the preacher, hopefully leave that which he preached, and you begin to understand. And Jesus knows that only through doing, your life change and you change your surrounding. So in chapter 10, he says now, go get the job done. Enough looking at me, enough hearing me. Get your hands on the plow and move doing the work on your own. And Trumpet of Salvation is exactly that. We invite people who don't only teach them great truth from the Old Testament to the New Testament. We don't only teach them great revelations, but we take them by hands to the street to experience opposition, to walk into the army bases. And by the way, maybe we should really take a look a little bit at the clip of how we really go into the army bases, because it's an amazing thing when you see a group of 40 people marching into an army base. Only God can do that, and only in Israel. Try to walk into an army base in Finland, or in Germany, or in America, or in Korea. You could never walk.
Hyvin mielenkiintoista. Katsotaanpas, miltä se näyttää, kun te menette tuonne armeijan tukikohtaan ryhmän kanssa. Ja nyt siirrymme ihan tuommoiseen autenttiseen kuvatilanteeseen. Katsotaan, miltä Jacov Damkanin ryhmän marssi tuonne armeijan tukikohtaan. Miltä se näyttää?
One was Jesse, the commander, and he was very moved by the trumpet team, the singing to him.
Goosebumps, he gets goosebumps.
But there was just a sense of being part of the encouragement to the Israeli army.
Okay. I want you to understand, we have here the chief of the Israeli army. Yes.
Hello everybody. Where are you from actually?
South Korea.
Austria. Australia.
Alright, children. It's a pleasure to see you here. You're most welcome. You have arrived at the right side of the fence. Pleasant visit and a pleasant trip, and thank you for your support. Thank you very much.
Tältä se näytti. It looks great.
It looks great.
Yes.
Amen.
Sinulla on siis Tel Avivissa keskus. Mitä teette tuolla keskuksessa?
Yes. Well, we have two centers. Let me just bring it right to focus and briefly. In 1983, miraculously, and I will not get into this great miracle of how God blessed me with a house in Jaffa. This is like three minutes walk from where Peter had the vision. Remember Peter having the vision, and thanks to that vision, he's taking the gospel to the first Gentile Cornelius in Caesarea. Well, 2,000 years later, God is calling a person from Galilee and blessed me with this house in Jaffa, not far from where Peter had the vision. And now he brings us the Gentile from all over the world and bring the gospel back to the Jews as he promised he will in the Bible itself. In this house, we have a nice sized garden. And for over 25 years, these groups, they come as individuals, but we make them a group in the house. They come as individuals from Finland, from Germany, from Switzerland, from New Zealand, from Australia, from America, from Scotland, England. They're coming from all over the world. And we form them as a group, and they come for periods of few weeks, few months. Different people come for different period of time. And sleeping in the garden. In the garden with 3 showers and 3 toilets. And all of that actually began with one single telephone call from Germany. I will not get into it, just briefly. It was a pastor from Germany calling. He says, Jacob, I hear about the work of evangelism which you are doing in Israel. I have 35 students in my church. I like to send them to you for you to equip them in evangelism. Would you please accept them? You know, I've got the shock of my life. Here I am on the telephone. A German pastor wants to send me 35 Germans to bring the gospel to the Jews. I scratched my head. I just told him, listen, I have to pray about this. I have to think about this. In my time of prayer, God, loud, sound, and clear, Yaakov, your ways are not my ways. Your thoughts are not my thought. Invite the Germans. I called him. I said, hey, I have no time to look for hotels for you people. And this was for me a way to test them. I said, I'm going to buy 35 mattresses. I will build in my garden 3 showers, 3 toilets. And you can come. He says, we're coming. And they came. And this was a great eye-opening for me. A great eye-opening for me. And I realized the heart cry of God to mobilize the Gentiles. So after 25 years of doing this work from that garden, a number of years ago, about maybe 10 years ago, a couple from Switzerland, they were really part of our team. They came and they couldn't believe their eyes. 3 showers, 3 toilets. They couldn't really believe the teaching that they receive and how we go to the marketplaces, to the beach, to the army bases, and the openness of the nations, and how the Jews really open to hear this great gospel of the Lord. And after 1 year, they came to me and they said, Jacov, you cannot continue this work in this garden with the 3 showers and 3 toilets. They came to me with suitcase full of money. And they said, you need a better place. And that's how Gilgal came to be. And Gilgal has become a center. I could not go to my government in Israel and tell them, please give me a license to build a mission house. Give me a license to build a church. They won't give it to you. So be wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove. We build this hotel. Nobody can tell you in this hotel what to teach, what to do. And this hotel is army base. It's an army base, teaching, mobilizing, bringing the gospel to Israel. And it's great what God is doing.
On mielenkiintoista kuulla kaikki, mitä teet, mutta aikamme kuluu. Mikä on sinun näkemyksesi Raamatun näkökulmasta ja omasta näkökulmastasi koskien aikajanaa, jossa nyt elämme?
We are in the right time and we are in the right hands. We are very much on God's timetable and very much in the hands of God, who promised to bring the nations against the city of Jerusalem. And what we see now is an amazing hour of history. This is the hour in which the prophets spoke about, the Lord spoke about, the apostle talked about, and we are so privileged to live at this hour of history as God brings everything to a climax, preparing the platform for the coming day of the Lord. And all the unrest in the Arab world, and all this hatred that is rising up in the Muslim world against Israel is all by the work of Satan. And Satan himself is nothing but an instrument in the hand of God. And God will bring those nations against the city of Jerusalem. And he himself will come and really deliver his people. And Israel will look on him whom they've pierced. And there will be a great salvation coming. For us, we have to understand. And this I really want to say. When he comes back, you need to know him. When he comes back, it will be too late. And there is an hour now to turn the heart to the Lord himself. He's coming back as sure as God is God. The day in which we'll hear the trumpet is around the corner. And really, we want to ask you, look deep into your heart. Are you saved? Do you know the Master? Have you been born of God's Spirit? It's very simple to be born of God's Spirit. All you have to acknowledge is just that you are a sinner and you're in desperate need of forgiveness, and God loves all mankind, and he provides salvation to the Jews and from the Jews to the whole world. Messiah Yeshua, the only way. So on the God timetable, the Lord is coming back.
Kiitoksia paljon tästä haastattelusta. On ollut hieno kuulla kaikkea, mitä olet sanonut ja mitä teet. Jacov Damkani, tervetuloa uudelleen Suomeen.
Kiitos, rakasta rakkaus. Yes.